Hello folks, this is a new show called Bagging Joey's Donuts. You heard that right, Bagging Joey's Donuts. Long intros don't make for good pilot episodes, so I'll just jump right to it. I'm Brian from the Crusaders Post, and this is going to be a commentary on Dang Bongino's podcast, as well as the newest topics covered within. Now, I love the show. I listen to it every day, so I thought this would be a really good fit for me. But there's some things that he could use a little bit of help with, and I want to point him in the right direction. And I believe he's responsive to input because he talks about how he reads every single email and even has his family take a look at some of them and give them their thoughts. The show is great. Features lots of awesome stories from his experience as a beat cop in the Secret Service, as well as just life in the eastern cities. He's well-spoken and witty. He's got an endearing sense of humor. There's lots of little running inside jokes, and in fact, this show draws its name from one of those little inside jokes or one-liners that he has. It's an audience favorite. It talks about a character called Joey Bag of Donuts, meaning just a common rube, usually in the context of a situation when expertise is expected and implied. For instance, to use a recent example, we found out the FBI never even actually examined the DNC server that was supposedly hacked by the Russians. Clinton and Wasserman Schultz didn't allow them to. So one would say, what? The FBI didn't examine the equipment that was breached? So who did they bring in to investigate? Joey Bag of Donuts? The answer wouldn't be too far off, sadly. They brought in their own compromised outside contractor by the name of CrowdStrike to come in and find the evidence they wanted to be found and to construe the narrative that the server was hacked by individuals working for the Russian government. All of this is great, but this isn't what made Dan popular. What made Dan popular is trust. He told the truth about Spygate, or the weaponizing of the FBI during the Obama administration to spy on then-candidate Trump. When most in the controlled opposition right-wing media, like Fox, would not touch it, Dan would. Now that, more than anything else, is why Dan's following has grown so large so quickly. Integrity. He likes to talk about dancing. It's another one of his little phrases. He says, you gotta dance. Well, if Dan dances with the girl he brung to the prom, he will rocket past everyone else. Because all the other names in conservative media have this big vulnerability holding them down, in that they aren't allowed to speak about certain things or express certain viewpoints that there is a huge demand for. There are two big issues in particular that his audience knows that if he has the cojones to start paying lip service to, his credibility will dwarf everyone else's in the media. Number one, that Russia is not as much of an enemy as they would like us all to believe. And number two, that Israel is not as much of a friend. Now, the geopolitical situation is complicated, even more so when talking historically. But these two right here, more than anything, is what's missing from the discussion. And like I said, Dan's audience is aware of these things, even if it doesn't feel like it all the time, because Twitter is set up so you only hear from the blue check marks. I'll be going into these two in more detail in upcoming episodes, but in the meantime, please try to tweet this out to Dan, because if he could start hitting even just one of these, man, it would be huge. I realize they're difficult positions to take, but Dan, if you're listening, just start by pumping the brakes a little bit with the Russophobia stuff. Watch. It'll do wonders. Just take the position that Trump does. Russia's not an enemy, just a competitor. This has been Bagging Joey's Donuts. Thanks for watching.